Hello, welcome to our part 7 of our series of videos. This is Teacher Shadrach, taking you through a series of videos, Demystifying Computer Studies Project year 2025. And I want to believe that you must have watched the other 6 parts of the videos. If you haven't, probably you will get stuck somewhere because all the videos are progressive. So we are in the 7th stage, where today I want us to talk about the issue displayed on your screen. It is about collection of registration fees. Collection of registration fees, which is described in page 2 of your project paper, about how a new member. The way we handle this issue might be debatable. Somebody will say that this, therefore, because it is being required at the time of registration, we should include a fee in membership table, or we should include a new field in membership table, and we would call it probably registration fee. So it's okay. Another one might say, no, I want to have a table where I'll be monitoring registration fees alone, in isolation. There is yet another person who might feel like this fee, because it can be broken down. We are not told how it should be collected, whether in phases or at once, because a member may say 250 for mathematics club might be too much for me this term. Allow me to pay 100 and then I'll pay 150 thereafter. All these are thoughts. I don't know what is your thought about this registration fee and how you're going to manage it. I would like to hear your comments. I don't know how, but if you have a comment, you can drop it into the comment section down there. Now, I started without collecting registration fee. I have so many members in my memberships table, where I am recording those people who have joined various clubs. You notice that in my case, I don't have a column where I am collecting the registration fee. So one option might be, I just come around here and add a new column in design view, call it registration fee. Makes my work very easy, because this table is the one which we are capturing a new member whenever a new member wants to join. But I want to cater for the person who might be having the idea of, why can't we have a table where we are managing registration fees in isolation? If you are thinking like what I am thinking, then this video might be quite appropriate for you. But those who feel like we should just add, instead of making things complicated, we just come here in design view, add a new field into our memberships table, and then we call it a registration fee, and we restrict ourselves to capturing that actual amount that is required for every club as the registration fee. Then it's well and good. You'll still have it done anyway. So the person who wants to handle this registration fee in isolation, then let's roll on. Let's move together and ask ourselves, what do we require? Of course, we require to have a table registration fee, which I have already done here, registration fee. And these are the fields which I have included in this registration fee collection table. Then it has a receipt number, because you may want to generate a receipt whenever somebody makes a payment. It's always good to give evidence that they paid. Membership ID. This is a borrowed field from memberships table. When you join a club, you are given a membership number by that particular club. So that's the number that we have there. Then we have got the date paid. Of course, that's date when you make the payment. We can set its default value, because the person using our system may want to have things a little bit easy, and the default value we said some time ago in another video can't remember which exactly that date function normally allows us to return the date today as per your computer system. So the default value, I have already set it to date function, and then thereafter amount. This is the amount that this member paid, the amount that this member paid. Now, having done the table, the next thing that comes into my mind is now, how do we ensure that we capture records that are accurate? Remember, the payment is based on the payment of registration fee is based on some explanations given on that paper about how it should be. That it is not a regular, it is not an equal amount all through. There are clubs like debate, chess, music, and so on. They are demanding a 200 shillings for that category of clubs. And then there is science, maths, and so on, 250. Then there is agriculture, art club, 300. And then there is the environment club, 100 bob. So you notice there is that diversity. And that's the one which makes a little bit, the technicality of it is that it has to be evaluated that this member is in which club, and therefore how much registration fee are we anticipating to collect from them. So that's the idea now. And you also realize that there before, when I was showing you my other tables which I had created earlier, I had a table that I am calling clubs categories table. Clubs categories table is among the tables that we have already created. We had created a long time ago. This one is an old table. The only one which we have just done now is that registration fee table. So this table shows a category. I have 4 categories: debate, chess, music. They belong to one category, and their registration fee is 200. Science, maths, drama, and I'm giving that as category 2, up to environment, which I'm giving category 4 because it's a category in isolation. Now, with this now, how does a member now, how do we check whether a member has already paid the registration fee or not? And again, remember, a member can belong to as many clubs as they wish to. Only that, remember, every club that one chooses to join, they must always pay their registration fee. So what I'm going to do, or what I would advise us to do, is I would handle that using a query. So queries, somebody might be wondering, what queries do we require? Queries are created as per the need at that particular time. There is somebody who will not require this query that we are just about to design, depending on the approach. How have they approached the registration fees issue? But as for us, I find that it will be necessary for us to create a query which will be showing us what a particular club requires to be paid for, and then we are going to counter check, has this member honored the amount that is required? Okay, so let's do a query. I'll use query design so that we can move on together. Under query design, remember, this is where you just do things yourself. There's nothing like being supported by the computer. So it normally starts by the show table window, and which table do I require to drop in initially? I'll drop in a memberships table. And how do I achieve that? Easily double clicking the table, or clicking and then clicking the add button down there. You click the table you desire, and then you click the add button down there. Then we will require to have clubs table, just to borrow something like the name of the club. And then we shall also require to have clubs categories table for now. And then which other table shall be required? So far, let's first see the behavior of our query before we drop in the registration fee table. So the behavior Of course, what we are creating is called a select query, which will also allow me not only to select tables, but it should also allow me to select what? To select the fields that I require to use. So I want guys to choose membership ID, the number you are given when you join a particular club, and then you have got the student ID. So these two I have selected from memberships TBL. So if your scenario is somehow close like mine to what I have done here, I have added what we normally call admission number, and then the number given uniquely as your unique identifier when you belong to a particular club. Then we want to see the name of this particular member instead of dealing with their number. We don't want just to deal with their admission number or membership number, and that reminds me that I should have included another for the table called who? Students table. The students table is important because this is the table which has got information about the student's name. So I pick first name, middle name, and last name. Okay, that is very crucial too. And then probably class, we may need to have to follow up. Which class does this member belong to? Okay, then after that, so those are now details pertaining to this particular student. So far, we can keep testing. What's the progress so far? I can see my membership IDs and the respective admission numbers and the names that we have picked and the classes. So far, so good. Then we also want to show which club does this member belong to. To achieve that, I will just pick the club name. So let's see whether the computer is following on. Yes, there are these initial members. They all belong to computer club member. I don't know whether I was biased to give them computer club, the very initial members and so on. No worry about that. It's just myself. But in your case, you can mix the way you want. Then, after you choose whatever we have chosen, the club name, you also might want to pick the club category. I have said we have 4 categories. Read the question paper again. You are going to identify 4 categories because there are 4 different payments required for registration fee. Now, these club categories, they help us now to create an association, or there is an association between club category here from clubs table with the club categories TBL, where again we have the registration fee. So I drop the registration fee. And how am I dropping these fields? Somebody might be wondering. You can simply do it by drag dropping. You drag a field and then you drop it into the lower section. But I normally prefer double clicking the field. You'll see it being pasted in the lower section of the design area of your query. So far, how is it looking like? So I can see like now in the first row, membership number 1, and that is student admission number 124, Betty, and then class twist belongs to computer club, which is in category 2, and the registration fee required for computer is 250. That's what somebody should pay. Okay, now how do we capture the payment? Where should the payment go to? The payment should go to the table. So I switch to design view. The payment should go to the table that we have just created called registration fee table. So I have again clicked the show table tool on the query, and it displays the show table window here. And then which table do we want to show? It is registration fee TBL. Now, when you are building a query, there is a time when you're going to find yourself like you have hit a snag. You don't know what exactly has happened. There before, I've been able to display records and all of them, the whole population of those people who belong to different clubs have always been able to display them, and we have seen even how much should they pay as registration fee. But now when I try to show, except this one record, which I don't know, I had entered manually into the registration fee table, that is the only record which now exists. The only record that exists is this one of the very first person. So how do we make the others be displayed plus their respective paid or unpaid amounts? So that is where now I'm saying that you need to be very careful when you are dealing with queries. What the query has done is that it has caused only those records which exist in registration fee table. They are the ones which are now being listed in our query. So it means that if we only have one record in a registration fee, the others will not be shown. But we wanted a case where it should be vice versa, that every member to be listed, plus if they have paid, or even if they have not paid, let them be listed. So what do we do? How do we make an adjustment in that scenario? So look at the line that is joining us from registration fee. Let me just first zoom out so that we are able to identify which line we are talking about. I want us to identify this line. Okay, that's better now. I will zoom out so that you can see my reorganization of the tables up there and see what is affecting us. When I have reorganized my query, and you now can see the relationship that exists between membership TBL and registration fee TBL, it's just a line. In the real relationships window, it's not just a line, it's already enforced. There is enforcement of referential integrity. So what is happening is that the computer now is showing every occurrence of membership ID in a registration fee, but we want it to be vice versa. It should show us every occurrence of membership ID in memberships TBL. So to reverse that, I'll right click the line joining the two tables. And I'm going to sorry, I did not right click the line correctly, and I'm going to choose the option join properties. So there should be two options only: join properties and delete. We don't want to delete, we only want to adjust the properties, the join properties between these two. So whenever you open this kind of relationship, when it is based on the queries, you will notice there are three options available. Only include rows where joined fields from both tables are equal. So I have said what? In a registration fee, I have one record for Betty, member number 1, and Betty, of course, also appears in memberships TBL. So that's why you find that's the only record that we are able to see. But I wanted to show all the records. I want to include all records from membership TBL and only those from registration fee TBL where joined fields are equal. Okay, so let's try number 2, and that's what is going to work for us. So once I choose that, I view. Now you can see the whole population of everybody belonging to a particular club. Again, it is displayed. So far, so good. Have we selected any field from the registration fee table? No. So let me now drop in 2 fields. We only require what? Membership, a receipt number is automatically generated, so I don't need to drop it there. I need to drop in date paid and amount paid. Date paid and amount paid. So let's test the query again. So you notice this record 1 is membership number 1. That's the only person who has made a payment, and they have made a payment of 200. I can try to make another payment of another member. This member made a payment, paid in full, 250, and so on. So you can see we can now be able to capture details of payment using this particular query. But is it easy for a user of your system to be opening the query and be able to do the entries from here? Is it very easy? It's not. So guys, what we are going to do now is saving this query. We save it, and but just before we save it, what must we also do? Let's also calculate the balance. Let's calculate the balance which exists after an amount has been paid. So to achieve that, we need to first save the query, and call it registration fee payments QRY. Reg fee payments QRY. Okay, now so far so good, and let's create now. We want to have a column which will be getting for us the balance between registration fee, amount required, and then minus the amount already paid, so that we can always be able to have a balance of what remains. And then if in any case a member overpays, that balance should also be displayed there. So again, we go to design view so that we achieve that. And then after the very last column, which is amount in my case, I drop in the cursor in the row 4 field, and then I tell the computer to build, to open the builder. So this is not a new place now for us. I know we have met this place severally in other exercises in part 1 to part 6 video. There are some areas where we have found ourselves desiring to use the expression builder. So this is not a new place. Thank you. So how should be the expression be? How should the expression be? It should be simply the registration fee required. I double click from expression categories, registration fee, and then type a minus symbol, a minus amount. Then I say okay, and then you notice that this is the newly created expression, and the EXPR1, this we found it makes no much sense to have a column with EXPR1. You know, the user will not understand what do we have under EXPR1. What do we have there? So we want to name this column, call it balance. Okay, call it balance. So to do that, again, must be done in design view. Design view is the best place for us to go to, and then double click EXPR1 from where it appears and call it balance. Are we together that far? If we are together, say yeah, we are together. Okay, now there we are. This is something that now is again a real issue that we must handle. From record 3 going down, these are people like now I have Maua Magi. They belong to computer club and must pay 250. But you look at the balance that they have paid or not paid, it's indicated as null, you know, nothing, that they have no balance. They owe us nothing. And is it true that they owe us nothing? Not really. So Microsoft Access has got a way of handling those null cases. Why we are having a null balance here is because there is a null amount. Notice, if we insert a figure that that person has already paid 50, you notice a balance will be shown. But in the case of those people who have not paid anything at all, now it appears like they have no balance. They have null balance. But we should either show 0 or we should show 0 or the balance of what is not yet paid. Okay, so to achieve that now, we need to have a way of handling the incidences of null values, so that in case we have a null unpaid amount, that there is nothing yet paid so far, let us say they have not paid null, because Microsoft Access will disturb us. But let it be that they have paid 0. So we want to show that they have paid 0. They have paid 0. So for us to do that, what we do, we are actually going to modify our expression. We are not going to touch the amount column. Let it remain with whatever it wants to show. It's up to it. Whatever it wants to show, let it show. But for us now, we do not want to work with null. We want to work with the 0 figure in case there is null. Are we together? So let's go to the expression. We build it. There is a shortcut by right-clicking. You can choose build, or you choose builder on the design menu of your query. So this is the expression here. Now, ever heard of a function called NZ? NZ, guys, is a function that we use to test whether an expression or a field contains null value. And if it contains null value, you tell the computer, you tell Microsoft Access what should be shown instead. Instead of us showing null, what should be shown. Okay, so that's the function I'm going to introduce just before the field amount, and watch how I use it. I'll introduce it here. It should actually be capital N, small z, and then you can see the description is that it returns, let us first read together, returns 0 or a 0 string or another specified value when a variant is null. In this case, our variant will be this field amount. The amount can be any figure. It can also be null. So in this case, we want to test when it is null, then what shall we show? So open a bracket, and then the variant is our field amount. So I now move past the field name, then put a comma. Then what we show in case the variant amount, the amount, which is now being treated as the variant, which can contain either null or a figure, null or a figure. So I want it to show a 0. I want it to return a 0. So I close the bracket. So what we have said is that you subtract registration fee like 250, like 300, or like 100, minus the amount paid, if at all there is. But in case there is nothing that is being displayed there, then minus a 0. So you try to study that. Because of the limitation of the platform we are in, I may not be able to explain beyond that. But you try to understand what we have so far said. Then we say, okay, and test our query again. We test our query. Yeah, so this is now what we desired, that any guy who has not paid any amount to their respective club, we should be shown that the amount required is the balance unpaid. They have a balance of either 50, 200, where we have null. Now you can see the behavior of the computer. So guys, that's about the query. I believe you have gotten the idea of how we should handle the issue of payment. So anytime, let's try also putting some payment again, so that you see the behavior within the table that we are working with. So 250, this guy is compliant, has paid in full. I don't know whether we can get to any other club. Let me first sort my list by admission numbers so that we see, yes, when you don't belong to computer club, like this guy belongs to agriculture club, then they have paid 200. And then this other one belongs to which club? They belong to, computer science. I don't want so much now of computer club. I want writing club. They have paid 250. No, there is a particular date of payment, 14th of 4 of 25, and they have paid an amount of 250. Now, one question: do we allow a member to pay halfway? In my case, I feel we should not. So in that case, I want us now to ask ourselves, how can we have a validation rule which does not allow a person to pay halfway? You should pay the required amount of registration fee. In our case, we do not want a case where somebody says, I'll pay 50 this time, 25 the other time. It will bother us, although the computer can very easily handle that for us. But we just want to have a flat figure that this guy is compliant, has paid the full amount in full. So it's either we are accepting the full amount or we are not accepting anything. Okay? So to do that test, we shall require to go back to form. It's difficult for you to establish a validation rule when you are working on a query. When working on a query, it's difficult to establish a validation rule. So we need to go back now to where we create forms, and the form we're gonna design, the form we shall design is a form which will be based on this particular query. This particular query that we have so far designed. The query we have so far designed. The query called registration fee payment query. It's the last query that we have done so far. Then we go create, and then what are we creating? A form. Just click form, and there we get a columnar form. We get a columnar form. Okay. Now listen, because here I'm going to introduce something that we have not so far dealt with in forms. Okay, it's common behavior of Microsoft Access to show us the very first record that's available in a particular list. Whichever order, I don't know the order it uses, but you can see, like now, we are shown the student ID number 1, who is membership number 460 and belongs to Agriculture Club. Remember, this was after I sorted the query. After I sorted the query using student ID. So we may want a scenario where we create a drop down which will display a list of values, and then from those list of values we pick a value or we type a value, and then we are taken to that particular record which has got that value. In this case, what is unique in this form is the membership ID. Membership ID. So we would want, whenever we want to go to a particular membership ID, we have a drop down somewhere, and then when we pick a figure there, then we are taken to a record referring to that particular record. So on it, design view is where we go to. Don't forget design view. You should be very conversant with the design view. And then I am moving, my fields are well organized by what the computer has used, like a table. It has used something like a table. From the controls that we have on the design menu, we have a control that we normally use for such a case called a combo box. A combo what? A combo box. A combo box is a drop-down list. So let's click a combo box. Control wizards, this time they are all enabled. So I have clicked combo box, and this is a wizard which begins, and it is asking us. This wizard creates a combo box which displays a list of values you can choose from. How do you want the combo box to get its values? So this combo box, we have three options. I want the combo box to get values from another table or query. No. I will type the values I want. No. They can be so many, they are dynamic. And then find a record on my form based on the value I selected in my combo box. Again, find a record on my form based on the value I selected in my combo box. True. That's the one I want. And then I choose next. Then which of the fields of registration payment will contain the values we want to be included in the combo box? I only want to show membership ID. Membership ID. Remember, a guy who comes to pay, we shall be asking them, what's your membership ID? They say 45. We type 45 and then we are able to see that. Nevertheless, if you would want to show some more fields like the first name and say the last name, there's no problem in that. You can add them. Okay, then how would you like the columns of the combo box? So we can squeeze membership ID or role. Let it just remain the way it was. And then in case what normally happens here, the way you specify the width of these columns is the way they are going to be presented in the final place where they are going to be shown. So this is where you do the adjustment. Then what label do you want for the combo box? Select or enter a membership ID. Membership ID. Put a colon there and then finish. Okay, so here we are. Here we are now. So let's see whether it behaves the way we want. Design view. No, we are switching to form view. Then I'm going to adjust the appearance of the form thereafter. I believe you now know how. Already we are now in the very first record in my query. It is sorted by student ID. So we want to show a particular member. So like now we move to membership 10. So from 460, whoever was in 460, now we have shifted. Now we are in member number 10 as selected. Let's try, this is Tracy Leah. Then let's try another one. Let's try another one to be so sure it's working well. 260. 260 is Gregory Upendo and like that. So you can see how you can create a customized drop-down list to allow you select or go quickly to a particular record, on your form. So far so good. But now our interest was that the amount that we shall type in here, because here we are only required to work on two fields, only date paid and the amount that we have received. And we are saying what? That we want to test whether amount is equal to the registration fee that should be paid. The registration fee that should be paid. So if it's not, then we must be told there is something that is not happening so correctly. So let's try that. We go to design view of the form, and then quickly get to that amount field. Then do we have the properties sheet? No. So show it. We show the properties sheet, and then already I'm in amount. If it's not the selected field, you choose it from here. You choose the amount field, and then you go to data page, and then you put the cursor in validation rule. Validation rule. Validation what? Rule. So we want to test whether the amount that we have specified is equal to, must be equal to. The validation rule says that the amount that we type there must be equal to registration fee. Must be equal to registration fee. So you can see I've selected I have typed equals, and then from expression categories, I chose field list, and then on the third column, expression values, we have registration fee. So the expression now reads that the validation rule is equal to registration fees. Then okay, all right, and when we are still there in the properties sheet, we normally give a message. We normally give a message that should be shown. Please type a correct amount for registration fees. For registration fee, we want to see such an error message. We want to see such an error message. Then for the date paid, we also may want to show the date today for default value. Default value on this form, we want it to show date today. So I have gone to the field date paid, and then default value is date. Default value is date. Anyway, I wonder whether it's going to have us with the default value because of one reason or another. So this is unpaid. Gregory has not paid their registration fee. So we want to test. Okay, we put a date there. The date does not matter, of January 2025. Then we carry on. Amount that we are paying is 220 bob. 220. Then notice, you see. So what's the explanation of this? That the registration fee required is 250. I have deliberately typed 220, but it cannot allow that. So I have got to go here back again and create the correct amount. I type a correct amount, 250, and the balance has been set to 0. Now, with this kind of scenario, again, we do not want a person to go interfering with anything else. We don't want them to interfere with anything else. The only area of access here, the area to access in this form, should be date paid and the amount. Date paid and the amount only. Those are the only two adjustable things, but also including the select a member here. So what do we do? Last step here that I'm going to demonstrate is that you can always disable the fields, disable the text boxes that you do not want any guy to interfere with. So I'm going to click from membership ID. I have clicked it to select it. Then hold down Control, click the second one, click the third one, click the fourth one, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, until I am so sure that I am now on date paid. Date paid should be accessible, should be accessed by the user. Date paid and also amount, but balance should not be accessed by the user. So once you have selected this multiple selection, what do we want to do? In properties sheet, we want to disable them. So enabled property under properties sheet, set it to no. Now, they normally become grayed out. Whenever you choose that, they become grayed out and they are not very clear in terms of visibility. So I also like, whenever I use the option enabled, I set it to no. I also like locking those items that I have disabled. So I also lock, but this enhances visibility. If you try it out, you are going to see the difference. If you only choose enable to no and then you do not lock, then you are going to find the visibility becomes unclear. The items will just become grayed out, but we want them to be visible. Somebody may try even to click them, but only to realize that they cannot be clicked. They are not accessible. So what I mean is, I am trying to click on Gregory, Upendo, Stacy, and so on. They are not available. So let me just try now to choose another person, Helen. Helen here belongs to Computer Studies Club, has not paid registration fee. let them pay registration fee. It's mandatory. Everybody must pay the registration fee. We try again, a less amount, 100 bob. We get an error message. We try again, a higher amount, 270. We get an amount, an error there. So guys, we are just limited to typing the correct fee, which is 250, and the record is stored. Are you happy? Be happy. So just to enhance the form, appearance of the form is not so appealing. That's what I'll be doing now, as I wait for you to also handle. You have your own approach of handling registration fee. If you want to handle it like the way I have handled mine, remember we have created a table for that, and we have created a relationship to memberships table using membership ID, and then the fields that I shown you there before, and then you go ahead, create the query, preview the video, post where necessary, view what you exactly want to do, and then you're going to make it. Otherwise, be encouraged, keep growing strong. We are moving. We have earned a lot of scores. Don't worry, we are still making very good progress. Just keep following. Keep it here until we meet again in another video, video number 8. God bless you. Shalom.